It's time to go balls deep.
The EA Sports College Football Headquarters Podcast.
Hell yeah, everybody. Thank you for listening. My name is Alan Gigax, and I'm here with
Anthony Scafacci.
Yeah, buddy. And we want to thank you guys for listening to Balls Deep. Be sure to click that like, subscribe, share, whatever it is you do on your podcast host of choice so we get the word out about Balls Deep, because everybody wants to go balls deep.
Welcome back to Roll Room Studios for just another episode of Balls Deep. So today we are going to talk about...
Not yet, dude.
Oh, God damn it. I suck at this.
I know. We're trying to include too much.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing too many things. And when that happens, you just wind up blowing your load right away.
Dude, that's my name of my game.
So we have a sponsor to get with first to give a shout out to, and that is the He Held On Foundation.
For Just the Tip.
Yeah, for Just the Tip, right?
Yeah.
Helping the elderly achieve their bucket list thanks to your generous financial donations.
All right. So do you have a tip for us today,
I do. Yes.
Okay.
Just the tip today is counterplays. I saw people complaining about they don't like to run counterplays because the blocking is bad. But the truth is, you just have to understand how blocking works, especially on a counterplay. So the idea with a counterplay is you're trying to trick the defense into thinking you're going one direction when you're actually going the other. So most of your offensive, let's say you're running a counter that goes to the left, most of your offensive line is going to block toward the right to make it look like you're running to the right, and then the guard will pull and run the other direction, and he'll essentially be an additional lead blocker for you. Mm-hmm. So what has to happen when that guard pulls is either the center or the tackle has to block the person that guard was going to block.
Yes.
And so there has to be enough linemen in order to pull that off. So if you have somebody who's over the center, if you have a defensive lineman who's over the center and you have a defensive lineman who's over the tackle, you're golden, because those two are going to block. Your center and tackle are going to block those guys. Your guard is free to pull. If you have somebody who's over the guard and over the tackle, your guard can still pull because the center is going to block that guy. But if you have a defensive lineman over the center, over the guard, and over the tackle, you better call timeout.
Yeah, or just audible.
Or audible to another play, because you're going to have problems.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Al, for Just the Tip, and thank you to our sponsor, the He Held On Foundation.
Yeah, buddy. All right, now go ahead and get into
the thing is,
topic.
dude, I was honestly, man, I'm just so excited about today's topic. Yeah, I was so geeked because this week they announced officially.
Right, this week as we record this, we're recording this on January 21st.
Yes, this week, though, they announced College Football 26.
Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
They're going to fix and get another $70 out of me.
Yeah, so actually, I was concerned, and I should have listened to members on our page who called me stupid.
Yep.
Right? Because I said, they might not release a full version. They might just give us like a big update for like $50.
Right.
And then do like every other year. Right? Because, some games, like if you play like GTA... Dude, like the latest GTA was made like 37 years ago.
Yeah,
it's
that's
still
an
being
ongoing
played,
meme.
and they just keep updating it.
Right. That we got X, like we got rockets that could be caught on chopsticks before we got GTA.
Yeah, like
6 or
legitimately, GTA played on 3 generations of game. Like the last one came out on the 3, dude, PS3,
wow.
and now it's on the 5. And so I thought, maybe that's kind of the new working model for a game like this, because really where are your big updates? Because now the roster and all that stuff, you're only going to get a 1-year roster, dude. You're getting those incoming freshmen,
right?
And some other players are gone. Really, where's the big updates? So that's kind of what we want to talk about today is what do we want to see in 26, what we think is going to show up, and what the headquarters wants.
Yeah, exactly. So some of the stuff that we know we're going to get with the new game is obviously new rosters, right? Everybody will have their new ratings for the next year. It will have whatever the updated conferences are. If anybody moves, anything like that, that's all going to be in there. Whoever transferred in the transfer portal, all that stuff will be in there. Additionally, EA, it's no secret that they're going to do more stadium sounds, more mascots, more chants, more things like that.
Yeah, they're going to do more. Everything will be more.
More of the detail of the in-game experience, right?
Sure.
All of that, yes, that's all for sure. but that's not terribly interesting.
It's not $70 worth of more for me.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because, dude, I'm pretty happy with 24.
Yeah, dude, I played 13 for like a decade.
Right, and I played 14
I'm a tough
for
sale,
a decade. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean, I will plunk down the money because now it's an investment because then I can, keep doing this fun shit.
Right,
like the
right.
podcast,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
There's a tax write-off.
Dude. Yeah, this is business
This
expenses.
is business expenses now.
Dude.
So, okay, but what, one of the things that I expect to see in the updated game is I think what they're going to do is they're going to add like more customization, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, and so they're going to make it more and more like a sandbox where you can start a team and maybe there's more generic stadiums, for example.
You're talking about a team builder team.
Yeah, like a team builder team, like a generic stadium, things like that, so that you can have these things, because the more in love you are with your own team, the longer you're going to keep playing this game.
That is absolutely true. Yeah, so that's true, because I've had a couple team builder teams, and it's a little bit frustrating to see that it says like Vanderbilt up in the stands when I ain't Vanderbilt.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that is a given, that they're going to do generic stadiums because that's something that existed before.
Right. Something that people have been clamoring for that I don't think we're going to see is the ability to upgrade your own stadium. If you start out at Buffalo and you got a 12,000 seat stadium or whatever it is. Oh, well, pardon me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the chance to upgrade to a 60,000 person stadium, probably not going to happen.
No. So, but, some of the things that other people want from...
Yeah, there's threads on our EA Sports College Football headquarters page
yes.
where people are saying like what they want to see, and so we're going to talk about some of that stuff.
So one of the things that people have asked for from pretty much day one, the trophy room.
Yeah.
Right? People want the trophy room. Not only do they want the trophy room, but they want a more in-depth history of not only the team, but the universe that you start the second you start a new dynasty. They want to be able to look back and say who won the Heisman Trophy 6 seasons ago.
Right. Who won the best offensive lineman trophy 4 years ago?
Who won the national title? Things like that. They want more record keeping, and that to me seems like super doable.
Yeah, really achievable.
Yeah.
Right. There's plenty of memory on the game to make room for stuff like that.
Sure. So I think that's something that I think, there's probably been enough noise. It's probably finally found its way back to EA, and that something like the trophy room and a more in-depth history of your universe is something that I expect to see. At least them take a better stab at it.
Right. Yep, absolutely. Something else that people want is more customizable scheduling, where you can say, like, if you want to have a night game, you would have more control over that. Or if you want to have a neutral site game.
Sure.
These are some things that were in NCAA 14
Yeah.
that somehow didn't make it into 25.
Yeah, I'm going to take... I love the game, obviously, right? I love it probably as much as anybody. But, I will hold them accountable for this kind of shit. I mean, like, dude, that's just, in my opinion, that's just kind of lazy. Like, if it existed in 14, there's really no reason it shouldn't have made it into the latest, greatest version of the game.
So on that note, we have this comment from Jack Wachtel, and he says, formation subs.
Oh, dude. Yeah, formation subs all day, every day. The fact that you can't just do that it's fucking really bothers me.
You can do the right stick to sub people in and out,
yeah.
But it's so much smoother and easier to just have the formation subs where I know on this one I want my power back in. On this one I want my receiving back in. And it's just a smoother, simpler way to do it.
Yeah, they tried to do it to some extent. Like, you can set up your depth chart with, like, your slot corner and your slot wide receiver.
And your third down back.
And your third down back and stuff like that. But no, like, I know my shit. Just let me put the players in the formations I want them, and I'll call it a day. And I'll adjust it as I need it. Right. Another thing, and this one comes from Juwan Mosby.
Okay.
The spring practice and game.
Dude, it would be really nice to kind of get a preview of what your team looks like.
Yeah, so, I mean, they have free practice, but what people want is they want to be able to play the spring game.
Yeah.
And I think I like the idea of it. If you don't want to play it, just send past the damn thing. But if you do want to play it, you should have to take whatever injuries you get. Fuck that shit. You roll the dice, you lose, right?
Right.
So yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
You know, your goddamn center goes down with a torn ACL and he's out for the season. That's on you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I think you know, that would be cool. I'd actually like to see a little bit more of that, like kind of built in when you do like your recruiting and things like that.
Right.
That maybe you have to do like at least one practice, and then that practice you get like additional wear and tear. And so you could decide like, am I going to hold this player out of practice? How many reps am I going to give them? But maybe that's, you know, a little too in depth for like the video game, and that's more of like a coach mode type thing.
Right.
And that's another thing that people clamor for is they want coach mode.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you can just call the plays
and just
do
set
the
it on coach
management.
mode, and that's
Right.
it. And running like an online dynasty with 32 coaches,
Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
oh, dude, it'd be a lot of fun. I mean, you know, that's the thing is it takes the player skill out of the game to some extent. Now it's your play calling and like depth chart fuckery and all the different things that go into it, how you build your team, your game plan, dude, all that shit, dude. I'm in for it, man. When I'm like 83 years old and I can't fucking use the
Yeah, when the
sticks
thumbs don't
anymore,
work anymore,
but I can
right.
still be like fucking, you know, what's his name on the sidelines? Who's the old fucking coach who used to be for Notre Dame?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, dude. You know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly.
He was featured.
He was an announcer.
Yeah, Lou
and-
Holtz,
Lou
dude.
Holtz,
He was
that's
featured
it,
in a lot of my shit.
Yeah,
You know, I was always make fun of Lou Holtz.
Right.
So, yeah.
Dude.
All right, what
So,
else we got?
All right, from John Jason Edwards, he says another portal window after encouraging players to leave. Where do those players go?
Dude,
so it would be nice to do cuts, right? If the players that you cut go immediately into the transfer portal,
Sure.
so that's kind of how it works in real life.
Yes.
Yeah, and where do those players go, Anthony?
So dude, I've got a long running joke and it hits every time.
It
you know
does.
what? It's always kind of a new audience, but I always say like they end up in like GTA or like,
Right.
you know, now Helldivers or some of these other games, you know, this is
Right.
where they end up.
that have jobs.
Anything like that to me.
Yeah,
that
they get drafted in the army. Now they're in Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. To me, it's fun. Like it's kind of Wreck-It Ralph. You know, they go just now. This guy's a fucking race car driver, or you know, he's just working the gun store in GTA.
You're right.
Yeah,
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe he could still have his jersey on or something. Like he just kept it.
Good times. All right, you got one?
Yeah. So dynamic weather.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Dynamic weather is something that I really want, and the weather should be able to change. If it starts snowing, but maybe it changes to like rain, or
Right.
you know, something like that, or starts raining and changes to snow, or you start a game at 5 p.m. and it goes from light to dark.
Right.
You know, those are the different things that people want. And I remember in Madden, it might have even been in college football, where you could actually do the weather that it was.
Live weather.
Live
Yeah.
weather.
Right.
Right. And so that would be fine with me too. Cause like in the winter or whatever, if you're in Michigan and you're like, dude, it's snowing out, I want to play in some live weather.
Yeah.
Dude,
that'd be cool.
that's cool. You know, that to me
Right.
makes the game more interactive. It makes it more fun.
When there's a hurricane blowing into Florida, and
Yeah.
you go down and play
Live weather.
88 mile an hour winds.
That's
Good
okay,
luck.
because my fucking 2-star kicker would still blast that shit
Yeah.
62 yards.
Good times. All right, so I got one here from Aaron Waddell. He does say weather forecast, in-depth broadcasting, but another thing he mentions is coaching apparel. Like right now, dude, when you create your own coach, it is weak as hell.
Dude, fuck yeah, it's weak sauce, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, you need more stuff. You want to be able to wear like different hats and have
gear.
different looks. Yeah, the gear,
Dude,
glasses.
you're gonna tell me they ain't gonna get like Under Armour, Nike, Reebok, and all these different
Right.
sponsors?
Yeah, dude.
But I'll tell you, I'll do you one better.
Okay.
I want my fucking coach to age. Right.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like right now, I started my coach.
Dude,
I think
2
he was
losing
like,
seasons, your hair turns gray.
yeah,
Yeah.
or it just falls out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, and I think you should be able. Maybe your coach gets cancer and he just dies, right? Like, you know, and I'd like to do more stuff like that, where as my coach goes, like he gets gray hair, you know, and things like that, and you know, he starts to age, and you know, his dick stops working, different things like that. You know, Those are the things that I think would make it more, especially more relatable as, as I get older. I kind of want the coach to be me to some extent, like
right.
his back hurts and his feet hurt and his wife won't fucking leave him alone. And then maybe that could be like another thing that's like a meter.
Dude, in Road to Glory, like they have off the field problems.
Yeah.
And that used to be more in the game.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, dude, that would be a lot of fun.
Dude,
Exactly.
it would be even fine. Like if the PlayStation or the Xbox were like it had a microphone and it could hear my wife yelling at me and it would take the crowd meter and like spike my guy. I got squigglies now, right? Because she's like, "What the fuck are you doing playing that game?"
Coach who was a huge college coach. He went to the pros and then he had like he didn't succeed, and B, he had like an off the field scandal where he was at like a bar that he owned.
Dude, that was a fucking goddamn the guy from Ohio State and Florida.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah,
this
stuff like that
shows how little actually watch college football. But yeah,
you guys know who we're talking
fucking
about.
God damn it! It'll come to me after the Lane Kiffin coaches at Ole Miss.
Okay, so
it's the guy from Meyer. It's
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, dude, stuff like that.
Yeah, and if you want to bang out like a 22-year-old co-ed, you should be able to, but it's going to affect you on the field.
Risk. It's
right?
A risk.
Yeah, dude. Now you're getting divorced, and
it could be a payoff. Like you get a big boost to morale.
Yeah,
in the short term.
Yeah, you got a little pep in your step.
Yeah,
because you get to play with a cheerleader's butthole, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right? Yeah.
All right, I got one here from Dustin Eubanks. He says, I want an actual guide to the game. There's so much stuff in Dynasty that I still don't understand, such as the symbols. Dude, I've looked for guides like that, just like a key online.
It's hieroglyphics, dude.
Yeah, these hieroglyphics. Like, what does this mean? What is my player has a little star down on the bottom left? What is that?
Shit's an old Egyptian.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, what the fuck does this mean?
Just tell me what this shit means.
Yes. I mean, at least use like common symbols we can all get behind. Like it's a bulldozer. Oh, I think I know what a bulldozer
I think I
means.
get that. Right. By the way, guys, if there is this stuff, if there is a key like that somebody put together,
dude, send it to Balls Deep.
Us.
Yeah, at reachballsdeep.com.
Right, reachballsdeep at
gmail.com.
Yeah, send it to us so at least we don't look so stupid when we're trying to.
So, hey, I got one that is near and dear to my heart from one of our members, Ray Griggy.
All right.
Custom sounds and playbooks. Right,
yeah, that'd be
dude.
cool.
You know me, dude. I've talked about it here.
We have.
Yeah, well, yeah. I have,
but custom sounds.
Custom sounds. I've mentioned it on the podcast before. It's one of the things I miss the most. Your like uniform selection is my custom stadium sounds.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I love the custom stadium sounds because I like to get sound bites and shit like that, and then we can play it every third down and stuff like that. I like that stuff.
Right.
A lot. So,
yep. TJ Carmen asked, "Road to Glory, any position."
Oh yeah, definitly. You get that long snapper out there. Yeah. My Road to Glory long snapper's a fucking beast. Yeah.
I mean, the problem is, like, I would love to do offensive line or something like that. There would have to be a whole lot more built into the game. I don't think that's a realistic ask, but that would be cool. Just to have the option. You don't have to do it, but just to have that option. That would be neat.
So many people have asked for high school for Road to Glory to come back to.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and to me, that's another big one. Is I like the high school,
or just make it optional. Because to me, it got boring.
It was optional before. You could just fucking sim it.
Oh yeah, that's true. You could sim it. Yeah,
right. It's just give me the option to do it.
Right.
So that I can play that stuff if I want. Plus, it just does not feel right to be like, well, now I'm a 4-star guy, right? Where like for me, I usually don't use defensive guys. So if I use like a safety, dude, I was not a 4-star guy. You know, I was like a 2 or 3-star guy, and it limits your selection, but it makes it more fun. It's like now you're stuck at whatever jerk off state, but that's your guy.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see when we get more concrete details about what is going to come out, rather than just our wish list, when they start saying like, okay, the new game is going to have like better looking cheerleaders.
Yeah. So the game is going to get released same time it does every year. It's in the summer, but that really means second or third week of July, boys. Right. That's when that game's coming. It's going to come out in July. There'll be pre-ordering and everything like that. And as we get news, it's going to get posted on the headquarters. I fully expect sometime around spring that we're going to get more information. as it comes out, and there's going to be 100 posts, and the headquarters is going to be hopping.
Right.
The hustle and we'll meet you at the food court, you know.
Last year, when the game was being announced and people were opting into the NIL, there was a dude who posted...
Cheyenne Lawton. He's still on our page.
Yeah.
I know his
Don't
name.
do that again.
Yeah.
He posted every single person who signed up.
I stopped him before he got that far.
Yeah.
But, dude, there was a day where he made around 100 posts. And it was like, Jiminy Cricket is opted in.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, at East Tennessee State. I'm like, dude,
the
nobody
third-string
cares.
tight end.
Yeah.
He
Like,
got his $50 and he's in.
He was on a Twitter page. So basically, as they would post to Twitter, he would then post it to us. And they were very colorful, and he used the team's logos. It was good content in the sense that it was very colorful and eye-catching.
Yeah.
But good Lord, was it overwhelming.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Make one post with 500 comments. I'm good with that.
Right.
All right, what else do you got, man?
I got a sponsor.
You got a sponsor? We're there already?
Dude, yeah, we're at the 20-minute mark. You know, I mean, you got something else you want to talk about?
Dude, I always got something to talk about.
You want to just tell a story or something?
Dude, I could tell a story. You got a story?
Oh,
No.
But dude, I mean, if you have something specific, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll get to the sponsor.
Yeah, I think we can get to the sponsor.
Okay.
Right? Because I got to pee. And last episode, I just peed here, which was kind of gross. But this time, I'm going to go use the toilet.
All right, that's fair. Okay, so our show is sponsored this week by the Milkman Fertility.
Our new sponsor. It's a new sponsor, right? Yeah,
this is the first time.
Yes, our first time sponsor, the Milkman Fertility Clinic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let me give him a good read here.
Yeah.
Are you having difficulty starting a family? Are your husband's swimmers lacking in number or in enthusiasm? The Milkman can help. We're America's first full-service in-home fertility company. For a surprisingly reasonable fee, we'll show up at your home and implant only the highest quality seed. The Milkman aims to make your fertility treatment as convenient as it is affordable. We'll provide your treatment right in the comfort of your own bedroom, or in the living room, or on the kitchen table, or for maximum convenience, even in the back seat of your car. Call the Milkman. He always delivers the freshest cream.
All right. That was, dude, I'll tell you, man, our sponsors, they are the best.
We have the best sponsors.
Yeah, we do
no
have
question.
Any other show, their sponsors, their ass, dude, compared to ours.
That's right.
Yeah. So, all right. So, for Anthony Scafacci,
for Alan Gigex,
this is Balls Deep, and it is time to pull out.